One of my all-time favorite quotes is that reality lays the tracks for the imagination train to follow. And this is one of those weeks ahead in our weekly astrology report where the power of your imagination can pivotally support you in turning your life around in a very powerful and strangely unreal but real way. The reason I bring unreal is we have Neptune involved here, but it's such an exciting week. We have a visible Mercury participating in our lives with Neptune in a way we haven't seen in our lives before. I don't want to oversell it, but I'm pretty excited. At the same time, we have a very difficult week as the week comes to a close. Friday through at the end of the weekend, we're going to experience a Mars square to the planet Uranus. And this is a very difficult energy in the sky for the collective. And in our own lives, we just have to be more careful for rash or impulsive or reckless actions and decisions. But in the world, it can look pretty heavy. So we're going to talk about some of the world events for this week ahead. And then that's called the mundane astrology. And we start with that. And then we move to your sign. And of course, it's much more personal. So if you ever wondered if you could imagine your life differently and have it show up that way, I'm hoping that for some of us, we can harness the sky and make that true. By the way, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lori Lothy, and I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and the whole sign house system. I love the fixed stars and minor asteroids. I bring a bit of that dazzle-razzle of the minor asteroids into almost all of my content. And if you also want to study with me, my Sky Reader course is opening up in April. If it's a 6-week program, you're live with me in class, replays available if you can't make it, a weekly Q&A to catch up if you're lost or confused in the homework, and a Facebook group. So that kind of real high-touch content with me is available starting in April. It's Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life. I'm focusing on teaching you enough basics to time your best life using astrology. You will not be a practicing astrologer if you take this course. You'll just be able to use it for yourself. Okay, so let's get talking about the sky. And I'm going to start off with the beginning. I called this in my newsletter that I wrote for my Cosmic Moonshine folks. I called this a Mercury-infused week ahead with a bit of treachery at the end. The Mercury infusion piece is important. Mercury's doing a lot of stuff in the sky. He's our #1 guy. He's very active this week. And he's also very active after coming off of a triple cazimi. He went into the heart of the sun where he got divine download instructions from the creator of all that is, the divine source of the sun represents the divine intelligence that runs this matrix. And he went into the heart of the sun on February 28th, which was Wednesday last week. And as he did that, heart of the sun connection to die in the heart of the sun and be born again, where he will be rising to visibility during the month of March in the evening as an evening star. As he's doing that process last week to die in the heart of the sun, he was accompanied by Saturn, Lord of time and karma and sage-like wisdom, as well as many other things, boundaries and barriers, who also went into the heart of the sun just after him and also is being reborn. And this is a rare triple conjunction, or some are saying cazimi. I'm calling it a cazimi because it's such a rare combination of planets in Pisces, Mercury, Saturn, and the sun being born again together on February 28th. Please go watch my video I put out last week on this for your sign. Because while it is an important event, it's not just about the moment of last week. It's truly much more about a new direction or theme emerging in your life last week that we last saw in play in 1994, 95, and into 1996, okay? So these are the synodic cycles that we're talking about when Saturn came into contact with the sun in the sign of Pisces. Now we're going to go back to this week ahead. Let's get rolling. I really want to begin the story with the beginning of Mercury having a little interesting action on Monday. And I am going to show you the image of the sky, but let me just give you the overview first, and then we'll go to the actual graphic of the sky in a 3-dimensional sky being condensed down to a little picture on your screen. But on the Monday that we have here, we have, first of all, on the weekend, right just behind us, Venus was in a square to Uranus, and there could have been some upsetting, surprising, unexpected developments regarding relationships, peace, harmony, and money stories. Certainly, I'm recording on March the 1st for my Patreon community. You guys get this Monday. I'm not looking forward to that Saturday, Sunday, Venus-Uranus square that's behind me by the time you get that, because of course, Venus rules peace and harmony. She's still in her morning star iteration, which means that she's seen in the morning hours in the sky, although she's quite low in the sky now. And that is a part of her that's much more warrior and warlike. And Israel is a Libra rising. And so therefore, anything to do with the nation of Israel and surprising or shocking developments may be happening on Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and into Monday. But then as we move into Monday now, where you're with me here now, Monday, we're going to see the precision of that Mercury sextile Uranus. Now, Mercury is the god of news and information, literally the news cycle. He's a messenger of the gods, and he delivered Zeus's messages far and wide. And because this is a story here where we're going to see Mercury in a flow to Uranus, there can be some positive developments that surprise us or we don't expect in our own lives on Monday. And you may feel it as early as Sunday through Tuesday, kind of bracket that. And Mercury is traveling through Pisces, though, where he's debilitated. And that's a place where he tends to give information without the details or broad gloss over statements. And in his worst condition here, confabulate or particularly manipulate or lie or purposefully misconstrue the news. So, but it is Uranus. And so it's positively surprising, even if it's false. I can make up any story there. Isn't this wonderful? It just turned out that 1,008 trucks crossed into Gaza. And then we find out that no, that was 1080 trucks, So I don't know if I'm going to believe could be a positive news story that surprises us on like, say, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. I really don't know. But in our own lives, there can be some positive news coming out of the Pisces part of your chart relative to the Taurus part of your whole sign house sky. That's where you have to know your own astrology. I can't delineate every little detail here. We have a strange pocket of quiet. I mean, like, whoa. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which is kind of like the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th in my time zone. That's going to be kind of like nothing's happening. Like everyone's quiet on the home front. There's no major aspect patterns forming in the sky by transit. There's no major planetary shifts. We're talking about a simple pocket of stillness. So it could be the calm before the storm. I might have to say that. I might call this week's video, although I know it won't do so well, the calm before the storm, or I might call it and make it true, imagine your reality. YouTube land, you guys love the positive stuff. You love when it's all happy and sweet, but life and astrology is not always that way. It does encounter the real life problems such as, difficult things like death. Someone has said to me, why do you talk about death all the time? I don't, but if I see a transit that involves the word death, I'm not going to ignore it. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5, 6, 7 are going to be positive because there's nothing happening. But is it the calm before the storm? Perhaps, because we're coming into a very challenging weekend. The bright light of the sky, which I'm going to focus on for your sign mostly because it's so beautiful and somewhat rare, and I'll tell you why it's rare, is this gorgeous energy of Mercury conjunct Neptune. This is happening on Friday the 8th in my time zone, okay? You can feel it Thursday, you can feel it Friday, and you can feel it Saturday. And if you want to harness it, go for it. Because what we've got is Mercury coming off that triple Cazimi, death in the heart of the sun on February 28th in Pisces. It's its own flavor of rare that takes you back to 94, 95, and 96 in your own lives. It's that energy with Neptune is very much your vision boarding, your free association dreams, your journaling, putting a dream journal by your bed. Mercury, the messenger, Neptune, transcendence, unconditional love, surreal, out of this world, angels, channels, archangels, unconditional love, awakening and awakened imagination. And in my newsletter, I talk about Neville Goddard, who uses awakened imagination as a key to creation. And I started my video with that lovely Caroline Casey content from one of her books in astrology. She's an astrologer. And it's your imagination lays the tracks for the reality train to follow. And I want you to consider this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You have this capacity to do that. Now, Mercury's still not visible. And therefore, he's still in his magical inner world. But then as the 7th of March approaches through to his maximum elongation for the sun, 18 point something odd degrees, angle away, he's literally going to be highly visible at the end of the month. I believe it's around March the 25th that he's exactly at his farthest slingshot he can get from the sun, and he's bright and visible to our naked eye. But he becomes more and more visible, and you would start to see him in the evening after around March the 7th. So, but before we get there, of course, or as we get there on Friday the 8th, you have to go where you live. Latitude and longitude matter. He may be slightly visible, just ever so slightly visible, as a little red pinprick, just after the sun sets in your place of where you live. It's nothing as powerful as his real total visibility as he comes into that elongation later on in the month. But nonetheless, be aware that he is becoming visible. So visible Mercury is powerful because he's here to deliver commerce, trade, communications, scientific ideas, communications in a very profoundly intense and more like a Richter scale 10, you know what I mean? A bigger, well, what's your scale? Yeah, Richter scale 10, right? Or a hurricane class 5 or something. He's got more energy here. And I shouldn't say hurricane because he isn't a water sign. We'll be talking about water strife on the weekend. Just hang in there. Neville Goddard is somebody who I really love his teachings. He passed away in the early 70s. I think I heard an alcohol problem, but he had an enlightenment experience in the 1950s, and he wrote many different books. And I really encourage you to go check him out. And I read the book years ago, Awakened Imagination. So one of his quotes that I always loved was, "Imagination and faith are the secrets of creation." Okay, that to me speaks of something really deep. God created man in his image or imagination. That's something I think he pointed out at one time. And he also has another quote that I love: "Imagination is the very gateway of reality." All right. So I want you to think of this 8th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday the 8th in Pacific Western time zone, like back in North America, as highly powerful. Instead of going out and partying on a Friday night, stay home and do a vision board with your friends. Meditate, get some insights, allow for your dream journal to be beside your bed, and maybe you'll have an incredible message. But also actively engage your imagination by choice. Now, Mercury is in Pisces, and that's for me, it's my second house of earnings. I'm an Aquarius rising. For Pisces rising, it's their identity. I want you to listen for your sun, moon, and rising today, but also understand deeply it's in that Pisces region of your natal sky where the magic of your imagination is happening. Okay? Now, the gnarly stuff. As the week progresses, then we move into the 9th and the 10th. And, when Mercury's doing his conjunction with Neptune, the positive part to me is that also the sun is sextiling Neptune and solar divine energy supporting something really good happening. However, because the world is made of all kinds of people, I will also mention that Neptune can represent, with Mercury, manipulation, spin stories, intelligence, psyops operations, news that's completely unreliable, and it's a misdirection or misinformation, if you want to use that word, in the news cycle of the world. That doesn't mean that you're going to have misinformation and psyops in your life. Let's be real. That means you can harness this instead because you become, available to a higher level of Neptune's ranges of expression. Okay. Like, you don't want to do a drug overdose here, right? Neptune and any kind of drugs is Neptune, and Mercury is out of debility. So I wouldn't say, oh, on Friday the 8th, try, LSD for the first time. No, not with Saturn, the Lord of reality and hardship, also co-present. It just doesn't seem like the best way to use that. But if you're into plant spirit medicines and entheogens, then this might be a good one for you. This could be, because the sun sextile in Neptune is very protective here. Now, on Saturday the 9th and 10th, which is going to be Saturday, Sunday in my time zone, that's where things get really challenging, guys. I mean, that's Mars. As the weekend approaches, we come into a hard energy. That's going to be Mars coming through the sign of Aquarius. And don't forget, he's sitting with Pluto, and he's going to form a 90-degree angle called a square to Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Now, Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus for quite a long time. He's been there since 2019. And this is a time when we've seen all kinds of topsy-turvy and erratic energies with cryptocurrency, stock markets, agriculture, food supply, but also farmers' revolts, right? Uranus is the revolt, the rebellion, and Taurus rules farming and farmers. So that energy, as well as the truckers' convoy energy, can be very much Uranus, Taurus, as well as the insurrection, if you want to call it that, in January of 2021 in the United States Capitol, at the whole, Donald Trump insurrection, Stop the Steal. That is also disruptive energy of Uranus and Taurus that we can see during this kind of weird time that we're in. And we know we haven't had Uranus and Taurus, by the way, since like 36 to 42. So it's an older energy. It's back again with the Dust Bowl, but we'll have erratic energy around the themes that I've just said to you. Because when Mars is squaring this energy, let's go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, really. Let's give it a nice range of time. I believe it's exact on the 9th of March. We're going to be recapitulating themes that we've seen in play already. Now, this is a part of a larger cycle called the synodic cycle. I'll be doing a separate video on that, but I'm going to give you some ideas. I love the idea here of looking at the past to predict the future, just so you know. That's why we use synodic cycles. But one of the things about this disruptive energy is earthquakes. Mars and Uranus in Taurus and Mars squaring is earthquakes. There could also be a cyber attack because electronics and electrical cutting edge technology, Uranus, Mars square, cut, sever, and especially in Aquarius, it's all very technology and sci-fi. So a cyber attack, a blackout, an earthquake, a tsunami. One of the reasons I say tsunami or anything to do with flooding and water hardship is because Saturn is the lord of the Aquarian space where Mars is traveling as he applies himself toward a superior applying energy toward Uranus. With Saturn in the place of water hardship, we've seen things like water wars, like the Houthis fighting to control the Red Sea, to protest against the Gaza situation, the Gazans not having any viable drinking water supplies, in a time of famine and also water shortages for them. We saw the submersible implode last year. This is Saturn is applying water hardship stories. We saw a ferry capsize with refugees. We saw Fukushima radiation water going into the waters. So things to do with water difficulties may emerge. I mean, think about it like maybe submarines, maybe warships getting involved. United States, I'm recording this, now on March the 2nd. I had to splice some content together from 2 different days. And Biden is saying we're going to maybe look at marine supplies for aid to Gaza, meaning bringing ships into the shore of Gaza as well as airdrops for humanitarian aid and support of the Gazan people. But there's a lot going on with that water energy with Saturn. And as Mars is squaring this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Uranus, even into Tuesday, we'll probably feel it. Expect those things to escalate. Expect those stories to come, all the negative stories I just told you, to hit the energy field hard. In our own lives, don't look at it so intensely. I mean, it's more like rash actions and harsh actions and harsh decisions and radical, reckless actions and things like that. And so don't personalize this too much, right? It's a big picture story that impacts the whole world. But you might want to go back to 2022, August 1st, when we had Mars conjunct Uranus with the North Node. And that was the beginning of this is the last of a 3-act story that is occurring in a greater synodic cycle that times out with, August of 2022. And then I think it would have been June of 2023, and then November of 2000 and no, I don't have the synodic cycle on hand. Maybe I wrote it down somewhere, but it's the first quarter square, the opposition, the last quarter square. And so this synodic cycle is the last square, and it connects various dots together. I do have it right, actually. It was June of 2023, Mars in Leo. And then it was November of 2023, Mars in Scorpio. That's the opposition. And then it is indeed now, March the 9th, 2024, Mars in Aquarius. And then in July of 2024, Mars and Uranus will conjunct again in the sign of Taurus. So I'll be doing a whole video on the synodic cycle, how to understand it in your life and how to make use of it and how to understand the energy of that. But I will also say, because of Uranus being so rare in the sign of Taurus, you'll have to go back to like 1936 to 42. This is something that most of us have not experienced. I haven't in my lifetime. So a lot of us are living through this energy field for the very first time. And so we'll be talking more about that. Now, this is a splice in. It probably seems weird to you, but we're going to go next and talk about Austin Kopek and his comment on this energy as I splice a bit of missing video into the middle. You don't even want to know why I had to splice it. And so here we go, continuing the narrative before we get to the all signs. Lovely Austin Kopek mentioned the idea of surprise attack. I was just listening to him talking about this recently, and I'm a patron for Chris Brennan's astrology podcast. I love that podcast. And he used the words, Austin Coppock used the words, what about surprise attack? And it really resonated with me. You know, I don't ever steal stuff from other astrologers, you might notice. I always want to credit them. Someone said that about me on my channel. But yes, sometimes I want to hear what other people think about something, but I always give you my own interpretation. But I thought surprise attack, right? Unexpected, surprise, shock. That's Uranus in Taurus, where he's been since 2018. And then he's been giving us instability, volatility, and unexpected things to do with agriculture, farmers' protests, trucker protests, stocks and cryptocurrency ups and downs that are really erratic since 2018-19, when Uranus ingressed into Taurus. We've been seeing all this volatility, right? And unexpected stuff. And I would mention that back in August of 2022, Uranus and Mars co-joined in Taurus. And therefore, that was the beginning of this synodic cycle that's going to be coming to a close. And in this regard, it's a longer story. I'm going to do a whole separate all signs video for the weekend because it's just too important. One of the things I want to teach everybody here about astrology is not to look at the idea of this as a one-off event. Mars and Saturn have been in a beginning to an ending of a story together that began in August of 22 and will complete this year. And therefore, with the Mars conjunction to Uranus. And therefore, this story must be understood in the long arc of reality, not only in the short arc of reality. Now, as I'm sitting with this for myself and really pondering this weekend, just like giving myself some breathing room to really suggest something that could be true, because on the weekend, we're also experiencing a Mercury sextile Pluto, which can be the deep dive, trying to understand something, trying to reveal something hidden from view. But it's also a belief buster. There's a great Maya Angelou quote. I'm going to grab it for you now, because if you had a belief that needs to be busted, a misunderstanding, misperception, when you see Mercury and Pluto together, it's digging under the surface, right? Finding what's true, excavating something into understanding or information, and maybe something that was hidden from your view. And therefore, there may be a quality of the Saturday, Sunday into Monday of a belief busting energy as Mercury flows to Pluto in a sextile from his early ingress into Aries, the sign of soldiers and wars, on March the 10th, which is Sunday. And so there is something powerful going on with Mars in a square to Uranus from the sign of Pisces to your, sorry, Mars squaring Uranus from the sign of Aquarius, we the people, right? The sign of the water bearer, a human form. Mars in that particular society, culture, the people, collectives, groups of people, squaring Uranus and Taurus. Well, Mercury has slipped and is slipping into the sign of war and soldiers, and belief-busting qualities of discovery, penetrating insight, new understanding, X-ray vision. I think we're going to have something very important happen this weekend into Monday. I'm going to read you the Maya Angelou quote, and then we're going to look at the chart, and then we're doing all signs. This is one of my favorite quotes from Renn Butler's The Archetypal Universe. Please check out his book. I don't have like a hyperlink to it, but I just have it listed in my video description box under this video. Okay, but please go get it. I should definitely get a Amazon account with my recommended books, because I think I get an affiliate fee or something or some kind of perk when people buy from my recommendation. So I'll get around to doing that. So some of the things he wants to say about Mercury Pluto is like speak the forbidden, blasphemy, heresy, iconoclasm, and all of that. And it's also things to do with detective work, of course. He also writes the destructive effect of truth, the breakdown of old models of beliefs or certainties, transformational points of view, and exploded beliefs. Now, here is the actual quote that I wanted to share by Maya Angelou, who's born with this combination. Was it Maya Angelou? Yes, Maya has a Mercury trine Pluto. right? And this is a sextile, so it's going to try to bring the positive side of Mercury and Pluto in collaboration throughout the story. I'm going through that right now. I have my Mercury at 2 degrees of Aries, and Pluto, of course, is moving through the first couple of degrees of Aquarius, and I'm living through this energy myself. It's a first in a lifetime. I'm becoming the voice piece of a Mercury-Pluto story. And a lot of people in my comments say, Lori, thank you for speaking the truth. Thank you not being afraid to comment on world events, even though it might be difficult or people will trash talk you after. I can't help myself. My newsletter, I finished my newsletter with a paragraph. I may share it with you guys today because I really want you to understand who I am. I'm not just a weather girl for the happy unicorns and rainbows that keep you feeling like nothing in life is relative to, reality. It has to be both the real and the hopeful. So here we have this quote by Maya Angelou. The need for change bulldozed a road down the center of my mind. So how could a need for change bulldoze a road down the center of your mind in your own life on this weekend? I just tell you, don't be reckless or rash or hasty or impulsive with actions, deeds, and words, especially on the weekend with this energy of a Mars-Uranus square in play. At the same time, Mercury goes into the sign of war, and he's the guy of words. So word wars in your life should be avoided on this weekend into Monday coming. All righty, the next Monday. Now let's move. Will I read that story to you? Maybe I will, you guys, and then we're going to look at the sky. Hang in there. I promise you will get to your sign. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I read a newsletter that I handwrite for you guys every weekend. It's called Cosmic Moonshine, a swig of weekly astrology news, and usually get it Saturday, sometimes Sunday. And if you like written content that you're not seeing in my spoken form here, you might want to grab that particular thing. You get a discount code for readings with me, early bird access to courses, and a bunch of other perks by being on my 5,000 subscriber newsletter. So what I said was, some of you will prefer that I do not add my opinions to the astrology, and that's okay. You can find another astrologer who keeps it rainbows and unicorns, or the ostrich head in the sand. Okay, that's what I wrote, afraid to offend anyone, because at age 61 am I 61 or 62? I'm 61 still. At age 61 is somebody who lived a life of loss, sudden deaths of friends and family, near-death encounters for both of my children, and as someone who lived with a husband who worked at the United Nations and later World Bank for years. My nature is by default global. Okay, I have a global perspective, right? A humanitarian perspective. And I'm really deeply cynical about the hidden motives and political agendas afoot in this world. I've learned the hard way to see behind the scenes of institutions like the United Nations and the World Bank, all right? The good, the bad, and the ugly from the inside out. And so I don't take things for granted, especially when it comes to the news these days. That's for sure. It's all about the propaganda spin machine in our society to keep us believing one thing and, not believing our lying eyes, right? Not believing we're getting gaslit half the time. So that's my perspective. And if you like that kind of perspective, please subscribe. And if you like rainbows and unicorns or ascension, there are many astrologers out there who focus just on that kind of stuff, or the personal stuff. You know what I mean? The psychological stuff. I'm here to share more than that with you. So let me show you the chart of the sky so you can see what it looks like. Oh, well, I'd share it if it was open. I just had it open earlier, and we're going to get going into this sky story together. I think I'm sharing. You guys probably see it and I don't. Okay, so we're going to go through the all signs portion. Now, your sun sign is good to listen to when you're thinking about career matters, and it's not sharing, so hang on. Probably shared my whole desktop with you. You want to listen for your sun sign about your career and purpose, and it also represents your father and father figures in your life. The moon can represent your home, your nest, your safety needs, your body, and mother figures in your life, whereas the rising sign is the steering wheel by which you are driving your whole life and represents you most accurately in the character you play in the matrix of life. If you want to learn how to cast your chart in whole sign houses using my free tutorial, it'll also help you see what your rising sign is. That free tutorial is in my description box below this video. I've got a lot of freebies, just scroll down. I use a whole sign house system because it's the ancient tool and it works with Time Lords. Placidus may have its own merit, but it will screw you up. Every astrologer on YouTube is behaving as if we are delineating the sky for general bell curve astrology using the whole sign house method. Okay, that's how we have to delineate in order to make sense of it for everybody as just a general story, right? So just understand that. Okay, so It's going to be like this. This is the sky. I know I've got a lot of junk in the trunk. Let me get rid of it. I don't want all those minor asteroids here. They're not particularly useful. And of course, as an astrologer, I just ignored the junk, but you guys will be overwhelmed by looking at it. Trust me. There's no need to put everything in there. Okay, simplify. Here we have it. Okay, just happens to be on a Aquarius rising here, set for March the 10th. That's the end of it all. That's the weekend. That's Sunday. And you can see that Mercury's gone to 0 degrees. So let's back it up a bit and move us into the beginning of the week. So you just see the sky a little bit with me. So we're going to start with the start of this week, which is going to be Monday the 4th on the astrology of the week. And you'll notice here that what I was talking about earlier was that Mercury is going to end up in a sextile or positive relationship to Uranus. Now, Uranus is right here. Let me do a bit of annotation. There's Uranus, co-present with Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter's here till the 3rd week of May, got here last May. This can give you as a benefic energy that some of the shocking and surprising things that are happening have a more positive outlook than not. It all depends on where Venus is at any given time to tell Jupiter how to behave in his house, right? This is Venus's house of Taurus or sign of Taurus. And you can see that Mercury at 19 degrees right here, getting ready to meet with Neptune, right? On the 8th, which is Friday. Mercury is in a flow state here. Yay, Mercury to Uranus. And that's what I started with, saying maybe there can be some positive surprises and developments coming through your life through your 2nd and 4th house, if you're, say, Aquarius rising, that's me. But just through the Pisces and whole sign Pisces and whole sign Taurus axis of your chart, it's a light touch, right? It's a fleeting day and a half kind of vibe. Check your emails, phone calls, and text messages in general during that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday influence window where this is very active in the sky. And at the same time that this is occurring, you can see that Mars is forming a flow to the nodes of fate. I'm not going to go too much into it this time, but it's a wedge. And things that have been very difficult here connected to destined matters. This is the war axis because Israel has its ascendant at 21 degrees of Libra, if I remember correctly. And this is the open enemies of the Aries part of the chart. Now, hey, with Mercury on the 10th of March, which is Sunday, Monday kind of thing, moving into Aries, the open enemies may be speaking, right? Talking and communicating. That could be that as well. But at this point, you'll see Mars, the god of war, right? Sitting here with Venus, the god of peace. These are love, hate, separate, unite, opposing, polar opposite energies here in Aquarius, but it is Mars working some sweet angles to the nodes that caused this war. Yes, it did. That was because there was an eclipse, as well as Mars conjunct the South Node in Libra in October of 2023, and the eclipse of October 14th at 21 degrees of Libra on the ascendant of Israel. Those were the causal inciting incidents that inflamed things with the Hamas incursion into Israel and the disastrous outcome that we've seen since then on October 7th. So yes, I know the eclipse was October 14th. Eclipses start acting up to a month or 6 weeks before the actual eclipse. Themes begin to emerge, especially only a week before the eclipse. So it was an eclipse-generated conflict in the Middle East, and Mars is now the god of war with the god of peace having a flow to the generative spot where the whole calamity began. This can perhaps look like an attempt at brokering peace, okay? Or some kind of ceasefire or truce or something like that on this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I am not hopeful for various reasons, okay? But let's continue the sky story moving forward. Let me get rid of all the clutter I just created because that's now jamming up the works. Let me create a new annotation, please. Let's trash that one out and move into the new one. As we move forward, we're going to begin to see that the sky moves with us, and we move like this. Now I'm jumping ahead. Remember I told you it was a quiet spot in the sky, right? March 4th, 5th, 6th, that kind of thing, right? Not much happening. If I was going to say anything about world events, the moon is in the sign of her debility. She's now in exile, going through Capricorn, which represents in the war zone of Israel, the land of Israel, or the parties in opposition to the ruling party. And so the land, the people are compressed. The people are dour, sour. The people are constrained or Saturnian in nature. There's hardship with the people, is how I would code that, seemingly anyway, as a kind of a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday vibe, as the most of us in the world just are in a pocket of quiet. However, the moon is trying to work something good out here, and perhaps could have some backroom deals and negotiations for a peace or ceasefires going on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then we move into Thursday, and now we do not have the moon in Aquarius, and Capricorn sign, sign of Capricorn. We have it in moving into Aquarius, and I want to go back to what I was delineating. We're moving into that gorgeous sextile between Mercury and Neptune. As we're going to start to feel it bearing down on us on Thursday in a positive way. And we see that as well, this energy, did I say that Sun was sextiling Neptune? I don't know what I was talking about earlier. Okay, the Sun will be conjunct Neptune later on, so that's going to follow up with whatever Mercury's doing. But what I do like about this is the Sun is sextiling Uranus. And that's probably what I meant to say. Sorry, guys, I misspoke. But was the Sun in a flow to Uranus, which is originality, freedom, rebellion, invention, unexpected developments in our own lives? Uranus is also your pineal gland, the aha, the downloads, the insights, the eurekas that you're capable of. And Sun is in a flow to that God, while Mercury is connecting with Neptune. Again, I'm going to just call it vision boards ahoy. Pay attention to your dreams at night. Something good is trying to happen. In the world, there can be a surprising event with a world leader, some kind of surprising news story, but don't trust it. I don't trust it. Any kind of celebrity, world leader, well-known person is represented by the Sun. The Sun is connecting to a surprise, Uranus. It seems like a positive surprise, but I don't like for sure that Mercury is, mushed up with Neptune, and in most places in the world still not visible, suggesting deceptive positive stories about world leaders or world powerhouse people, or all of that may not be exactly factual. So don't trust it necessarily, but in your own life, vision board away. And as we move into that, we see that we get that perfection of Mercury with this part of the sky. It's not showing me. Yeah, so it would have been exact on Friday the 8th, and then by March the 9th, which is Saturday, it's beginning to wane. But you can use Thursday, Friday, Saturday for an incredible imagination. Lay the tracks with your imagination for the reality train to follow. That's what we're going to focus on for your sign, and how you could, what tracks you should lay and where, because that's the most positive. I don't want to tell you how you're going to cut your girlfriend's finger off. I hate to say that, or shout at somebody really harshly, because when you have this Mars, god of anger and rage and outrage, squaring Uranus, certainly we can have personal outrage. We can also have mass outrage. Okay. And as we go into the weekend, here we are, Mercury into the sign of soldiers in war, right? Where the wound has been trying to be healed since February the 19th, and the mean node conjunct Chiron on March the 5th. Depends on if this is the true node. So we still have this chironic wound around war that's trying to be healed for the collective. Mercury is the communicator, coming in on March the 10th, which is Sunday. We may see Sunday through onwards, 2 months, by the way. Mercury will be in Aries, an attempt to talk about how to negotiate peace in this stupid situation in the world. In the meantime, I wouldn't count on it happening anytime soon. Maybe somewhere halfway through this 2-month transit of Mercury in Aries. And also watch out in your own life, okay? For how Mars now at 20 degrees of Aquarius, is squaring Uranus. You'll start to feel this to be true on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. This is where you can have an incredibly difficult, unexpected blowout with somebody important in your life, where you have some kind of reckless action and rash decisions, or some kind of extreme, maybe flare of outrage with each other. So be cautious. I'm not going to delineate the hardship. I'm doing an all signs video for this energy of the weekend, and maybe I'll cover it there. That's why you should like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. All right. If you're still watching me in the live premiere, we haven't got to all signs, please hit the like button now and subscribe and share the videos. Help the channel flourish so that I flourish back at you guys. All right. So that's the story. Let's go through the all signs. We're going to cue it back to the positive story of the Mercury conjunction to Neptune in its best possible iteration. And again, every planet has like octaves of expression. I don't really like the word octaves, but I will say, Neptune can take you down to mental illness and drug addiction and escapism all the way up to enlightenment. All right. My enlightenment transits of the last few years have happened with Neptune activations. I'm going to be doing a lovely video with Adam Ellenbus on my channel sometime in April to talk about the spiritual awakening process as it connects to astrology. So I hope you guys will be interested in that kind of content as well. All right. So let's start off with Aries and we'll get rolling. Before we do, I like to always say to all my regulars, thank you. Where's my regular shout out book? Nothing is ever where it's supposed to be. Give me a sec. Yes. What does Lori wear when she's working? Sweatpants. Just in case you saw my butt sticking out there. Thanks everybody these are people who come to my live premieres if you're new, and all I can say is thank you. This just means that I chat with you in the chat box and take your questions about astrology and the content live. Well, we watch the replay of the video. This is an off the shoulder. I love this, but I've got like a tank underneath, so it's not working so well. Thank you, up at 11 with Kina, Discerning Light, and Kathleen Brown, Melissa Carey, and Anastasia D. I haven't seen you for a while. Strictly Gaming, who's changed his channel. I better remember your new name. Fran Oceaner, Sedona Horse Medicine, haven't seen you in a while. Diana Boss, Balcon 200, Michael Thrash, Stephen the Jupiterian, Jupiter 8, Flower Remedy, One Wise Lady, and One Rare Bird, Crystalline Alchemist. Where do you guys come up with these names? Vancouver, Vixen, LA Taylor, Mad Hippies, Life, Linda Calder, Grounded Extracts, Herbal Empress, and more. Thank you. This is my little guest book. You guys are guests on my channel in my private chats. Let's go ahead and do the all signs. There's amazing Sabian symbol, by the way, at this particular co-joining together. I should tell it to you now because I'm going to focus on it. And the Sabian symbol for this union at 27 degrees of Pisces rounds up to 28 Pisces. Okay. That's how you do Sabians. And the Sabian symbol for the delineation for all signs where this magical Thursday, Friday, Saturday energy is available is, where is it? Oh, wait, let me double check that. Oh, I'm in Aquarius. I'm like, oh my God. No kidding. That doesn't sound good. It was like a saw felling a tree. No. A fertile garden under the full moon, keyword ultimacy. Now, what I love about it, she actually says this is about manifestation. In this book, Diana E. Roche, the Screen of Prophecy, Sabian Symbols book, satisfaction, accomplishment, manifestation, prosperity, abundance, fruitfulness, productivity, affluence, it's all so juicy. So it's really, what fertile garden do you want under the full moon energy of your imagination? Go for it. I'm going to suggest a vision board party with a couple of people in my life coming over to, glue and all of that. So let's go back to the charts and let's start with the Aries folks first. Okay. So now I have to cue us by hour so that we have Aries in here first, and then we'll get started. Hey there, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Welcome to an astrology week that offers up a fertile reality train imagination. Make it so kind of vibe. For you today, we're just going to give you a nice, sweet delineation on how it might go for you to use your imagination when it comes to this Thursday, Friday, Saturday energy in your 12th house. Now, your 12th house is your house of imagination. So if you're an Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, pay attention to your nighttime dreams. Pay attention to your vision boarding. Pay attention to your, affirmations, write out what you desire, free associate journaling, that kind of thing. It's already magical. So use your imagination in the house of your deeper sort of subconscious, unconscious past lives, Akashic records place. Go for it. Go for it. Neptune rules mesmerism and hypnotism. And if you wanted to get hypnotized on this Friday, that would be also really juicy for you as well. The energy here, of course, brings a little surprise, perhaps, this positive, an aha, a divine download with the sun sextiling Uranus, connected to things to do with what you value, with your earnings, with ideas for new earnings, for new visions for your earnings, because you're trying to be more prosperous. This is Jupiter opening up gateways of golden eggs of financial opportunity through to the third week of May. And now he's not encumbered by retrogradation like he was for 4 months last fall. This means that you are on it. This is the time to plant the new seeds of prosperity. And something about Thursday, Friday, Saturday can be very magical in an idea or a new direction you might imagine into being. The other thing is, there's 12th house monies if you generate money from foreign countries, foreign customers. In our modern world of digital currency, I mean, digital PayPal, Stripe, that's easy to do, right? So if you have that kind of business model, some of this magic may connect you to that big vision dream for that business model and what you wish to accomplish in that manner. And finally, this is a house of foreign distance, long distance travel, where this merger of Neptune and Mercury happened to be like far off foreign shores and lands, and Mercury rules your house of travel, your third house. So there may be the opportunity to come to a realization of a travel directive opportunity that can be quite lucrative for you. I have a sense of what that might be for me already, because I've been working on the back end of a El Camino trip and inviting only a very select few to come with me. And that may be the more furthering of that particular El Camino journey this June. Now, the whole clash, I don't want to dive too much into it, but the clash energy that we're talking about, just be really careful for a blowout with a friend, somebody in your larger social groups or circles, especially if it's a blowout over money or speaking badly with each other. Speech is your second house, shocking speech, unexpected blowouts financially with an elder sibling, with a friend. These are cautionary zones for all of you Aries rising, sun and moon secondarily, of course. If you're a Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign, and always remember I explained why your rising is most accurate in the very beginning, you're definitely looking at this as a visioning, imagining, magical Thursday through Saturday window to do with groups of friends. Now, this would be an ideal time to do something with a group of friends that's very enchanted and magical. Like I'll go to a group meditation event or a group shamanic journeying event or a group kirtan chanting event. That kind of stuff is very wonderful with this combination of energies up here. And with the sun up here saying to, Jupiter and Uranus, and by the way, this is making you much more healthy, more prosperous, more optimistic, more commanding, and more resourceful in your life until the end of May with Jupiter here. But this is kind of opening up some eurekas for you. You may have some freedom-loving impulse, some new ideas, some kind of pineal gland insight or download from that Uranus sun energy that is co-present with Mercury and Neptune fusing into that awakened imagination. You can receive messages in your imagination and you can plot your destiny by imagining what you want. What do you want when it comes to the long-range goals, dreams, and plans for your life? Because that is also your 11th house. What do you want in the types of friendship circles and groups of belonging? What do you want in terms of the people you know have your back? Those are 11th house people, allies, and benefactors. This is a deep envisioning time for you, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, to bring that into reality. On a practical note, come on, guys. I mean, Neptune is the god of film in the film industry. Mercury, sun. You could go to a movie with your friends. But if you do, it could be that movie Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is going to have a transformative impact on your life. I explained in the beginning why this is special. It's because of that triple cazimi last week, plus Mercury now becoming visible in the month of March, which is quite rare. Hey, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. This is your story. What kind of vision boarding, imagining do you want to do coming off of that rare triple cazimi last week in your career house? This is a time for you to really go deep. Maybe definitely do what do you call it? Like a motto, a manifesto for your career. A few vision boards wouldn't be bad at all. I'm a progressed Gemini sun, and I think I'll vision board my ideal career. You can't make this up, but I did a vision board on my career goals about 5 years ago. And when I still had a progressed sun in Gemini, right? Sun is the career point and purpose. And I had actually a picture of a lunar landscape. And I did not know that I would be building a channel called Lunatic Astrology. You can't make this stuff up. So do a vision board on your career and on your purpose stories, okay? And your reputation. See what you can imagine into being this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And Saturn wants you to help you make your dreams real. That's his kind of job here. Make the visions of Neptune real. And that's rare too, because we haven't had Saturn here since 1994, 95, 96. All of this explanation is in my intro, but in your life, think about how you building a new career in 94, 95, 96. I was beginning my psychics readings business at that time out of my journalism career. I want you to think about the energy here of the sun and Uranus pulling from the deep, deep archives of your many lives and the unconscious mind and your deep, sort of channeled or akashic space of your being. Uranus here with Jupiter is like, do you have a guru? Are you going to the ashram? If not, is your inner guru is activated and wanting to enliven this, envisioning and dreaming and making your reality happen through the imaginational realms. So you're going really deep here. You're really pulling on something that could be very much from a depth of spiritual awakened awareness, which is, the full Buddha Monty, the full Monty Samadhi, Nirvana, unity consciousness, breakthroughs come off that 12th house. And so whatever you're imagining into being, I suggest might come from a really profound, spiritually aware place within you. The hardship and the conflict that comes up on the weekend, I'm sort of touching on it very briefly. Just be careful you don't have some kind of flame out, blowout with a ninth house person, ninth house people. Professors, teachers, human resource people in your company, father figures, third marriage partners. There could be some real friction, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of vibe. And you want to watch for rage, outrage, or just, harsh words even, especially on the 10th when Mercury moves into the sign of them's fighting words. But in the meantime, the goodness far outweighs the difficulty. Rash, impulsive decisions around ninth house matters should be avoided, that especially around foreign land, travel, and shores. Be careful you don't make reckless decisions at the time of the weekend and plan or take journeys that are not ideal. Same with legal matters. Please don't have a fight with your lawyer and have a blowout there. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm splicing this in for you the day after because this girl forgot you guys in the original video. And don't even ask how. The cursor jumped ahead and skipped over you and went straight to Leo. Let's talk about what it looks like for you on this week of the astrology of March the 4th through to the 10th. And let's get your story in the mix as well. Basically, you can note that we're talking mostly about the happy story of what happens when you have a Neptune conjunction with Mercury at a time that Mercury has just come out of that triple cazimi last week, and it's giving that extra special potency. And don't forget, we have energy of Lord Saturn here. So you might want to compare this energy to your life back in 1994, 95, and 96. But this cazimi can be very much about laying those reality tracks on Friday, the 8th, and you might feel that energy Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and use that energy to lay the ground with your imagination, to lay the tracks for the reality train to follow. This is that energy where your power to envision, imagine, dream into being can be highlighted. And I also say do things like collages, vision boards, meditations, free association journaling, morning pages. These kinds of things are very positive during this cazimi in your conjunction in your ninth house of God. This flows to you. This is coming at you in a very positive water trine. And therefore, it is greatly beneficial to your sense of well-being, to your body, to your sense of wellness in soul, body, mind, and soul. The ninth house is about academic settings, foreign country travel, and lands, legal and court matters, and book publishing, but it's also more deeply associated with one's dharma. What is the meaning and purpose of your life? What's the best expression of your talents and gifts in such a way that you're being of service and following the code of your soul? And so there's something here to be asked in the energy of this vision. What highest visions do you have for a deeply meaningful life that's in alignment with your highest purpose? So you may, true north, basically, right? Compass, true north energies may be very operational for you this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You don't have to do a vision board, but I'm just suggesting it. In other words, you're going to find magical ways that you might have a new idea, a new vision, a new understanding of how you might be aligning with purpose, especially with Chiron North Node in your 10th house. Chiron be giving you a wound about true calling and purpose and reputation and career from 2018, 19, all the way through to the end of 2020. 6 or middle of 26. This is a story you're healing the chironic wound of purpose, especially in your career and reputation space, especially with that healing of the North Node Chiron conjunction, both on back in February, the day's going to escape my brain, and also March the 5th. That chironic wound is being worked on here. I think it was February 19th. And energetically, but don't trust me on that because my brain is not working to remember every little astrology detail. But the idea is there, right? You get the gist. Now, of course, because practically legal contracts, book publishing, foreign country travel, there may be a new idea, a new development, a new insight, a new imagination, a new vision about what you want to accomplish in any of those areas. And if you're in the publishing industry, like an author or a writer, Mercury's up there and he rules your third house of writing. And Saturn can represent traditional publishing or legacy publishing or serialized publishing. So a lot of Cancers who may be in author or writing mode, this is a great time to download a new vision or an idea for a book, or perhaps even a new vision or idea about how to distribute or publish a piece of writing that you have created. I will extend that in this case to podcasts because we publish podcasts, we publish stuff like that as well. And that's the story for you. Now, remember I talked about little hardship here with that kind of, Mars, Uranus square energy playing out where it's reckless action or, reckless action, rash decisions, kind of that aggression going on. That's an interesting place for you. Just watch out, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that you might come into a conflict with a sibling who's older than you. It could also be a conflict with a friend who was an ally or benefactor to you. And that is that Uranian energy in the third house of friends and alliances, groups of belonging, benefactors and allies. And there's a square to Mars in your 8th house of finances, especially taxes, a special chunky money stuff. And there may be a conflict of interest here with another person and financial matters, especially if those financial matters connect to career as well. I can make a story about my Cancer sister because she works for me, and I want her to declare taxes so I can write off the money I give her, right? And we're probably going to have to square away with this in a conversation that will come through the sky with us. In fact, we indeed have a planned conversation before then. But watch for flares also with some kind of hopeful optimism you have about a vision and goal for your life, because that's what Jupiter or Uranus can do in your 11th house of great career gains, and having to square away with a Mars 8th house person. Discussions and disagreements about money from an inheritance with somebody, about spousal support or separation of assets in a divorce, conversations and challenges around Mars 8th house things, your spouse and you about money. All right, that can be very much a problem in our energy. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday at the end of the week. So there you go. That's your little bit that I finally caught up for you. Thank you, Cancers, for listening. And we're wedging you right where you belong, right after Gemini and right before the sign of Leo. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. So basically, guys, this is simple. You've got this deep soul workplace. The 8th house is moksha, spiritual liberation, along with houses 12 and 4. And it's water. So you're very in line with the moksha here, because naturally moksha houses are water with the Aries rising. And this energy says you're going to have a potential infusion of awareness from a very interdimensional place. The 8th house is where you're going to find I talk to dead people. This is where you're at the liminal space between the world of the living and the dead. This is the 8th house of the transpersonally weird stuff like archetypal energy, archetypal astrology, but also paranormal, occult mysteries, magic, alchemy, right? Tarot and astrology can go here. So this is that kind of house. So on the mystical level, oh my goodness gracious, I would make a good spell, cast a good witch spell of some kind, use a talismanic object, make something powerful happen here around Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, for that Neptune Mercury combination in its highest form. With the sun here and all of that, the sun says, and it can be about your money. You might do some deep envisioning of your long range money and goals to do with, the money you can invest, your savings for your retirement, those kinds of monies from bank loans and mortgages. If you want to envision having more money than you need in that kind of non-earned income way, then you could try that. Now, the sun is in a flow to Uranus, and there's a sense then of something good developing through this deep occult magic world of your eighth house into your visible house of career and reputation. Yay, you! Therefore, you could find some surprising career and reputation and purpose developments that delight you showing up on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and maybe embedding in it this idea that maybe you wished for something and it became true. Some kind of financial bonus, like, a severance package or a sign-on bonus or some kind of health benefits package from your work, some kind of extra add-on in your goodness of your career and chunky money. Looks like it's possible for you, Thursday, Friday through Saturday. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. So we start off this week, well, I go back and listen to the beginning. I'm really focused on the end of the week. So we're going Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I didn't tell Leos what blowout to watch for. Darn it. Leos. Got to alert my time stamping sister to the problem. If you're going to blow out with somebody, it's with your significant other. Okay, be careful for major blowouts with a business or love partner that sounds like rage or outrage, reckless actions and decisions, blowing up. Should you blow out? Maybe you should, right? Maybe, but just be aware that that could happen. It can be conflict as well to do with things you're doing in the operating theater of your career as it applies to a customer, client, audience member, or your significant other. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. So looking at that Thursday, Friday, Saturday energy of Neptune and Mercury, making a visioning, imagining reality tracks are being cast in the house of significant long-term love relationships. If you are in one already, use it or lose it. This is great for you and your partner to have deep, deep, deep moments of connecting, almost like out of a Vulcan mind meld, a telepathic, my mind to your mind or my heart to your heart, and to elevate your significant relationship to another level. On the other hand, co-creative, collaborative envisionment of what you both want in your relationship is ideal Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, including doing a vision board together about what you see as the highest potential of this union, and getting in deeper, intimate conversations that transcend the everyday life that you live. With the sun in your seventh house, this is applying to a sextile in your ninth, and therefore some surprising and positive developments Thursday through Saturday may be occurring in your life to do with schools, academic settings, foreign shore and land travel, especially travel with a beloved or significant relationship person, or things to do with book publishing and legal contracts for some of you Virgos who are writers coming through the transit at the Thursday, Friday, Saturday window of time. And then watch for conflict and disagreement that could blow out of control with reckless decisions and actions coming through the Mars square Uranus energy. Now, you could translate it to a breakthrough, but be cautious because it's coming from Mars in your sixth house. It can have to do with pets, tenancy and rental agreements, like with landlords and stuff, or with situations to do with your working colleagues and coworkers. And Mars is blowing out with Uranus. Now, Uranus is like surprise, so it's hard to delineate it, right? But you could fall into some kind of real disagreement regarding academic settings and foreign travel settings and work obligations, for example, and make reckless decisions of reaction instead of action at this time. Or there may be reactionary things going on with colleagues, coworkers, and bosses, and they are in a jolting way, destabilizing some of your ninth house matters, mostly maybe legal matters, court matters, or travel matters. This too shall pass. Hey, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. It's a story here that we're quite happy to see happening, right? This infusion of envisioning, laying the reality tracks with your imagination that is happening in your house of health and work. Now, if you have any health challenges and you have Neptune here, as you have since 2011, it's my deep encouragement to you to number one, be careful of what drugs you take. Because you could have overdoses easily, but also be understanding that Neptune can help you rise above your health challenges using channeling, angels, archangels, hypnosis, non-ordinary transcendent ways to being well. Keep that in mind, okay? In the meantime, shamanic journeys and stuff even, in the meantime, it's a time in when the fusion here, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of Neptune and Mercury in the sky is like the cazimi of those two planets, can really open doors of perception when it comes to what you really want to imagine into being for your better health and your better career and work stories, especially where you're working, the job, the kind of, is your job service or is it servitude? Is it drudgery? Is it and duty or is it destiny? Are you feeling aligned with proper service? So you're going to be able to maybe use a little bit of envisionment here to change that up, to move it into something better and new with your imagination. Why not? If you want to imaginate getting rid of a debt or having a debt come back to you that someone owes you and paying it off, or getting a dream pet, or imagining some positive situation regarding rental properties and homes that involve rentals, this is also very auspicious for you as a Libra. Like I say, like you want to rent a property and move, and I'd be envisioning your ideal rental property. You're looking for a pet, do a vision board on your ideal pet, that kind of thing. You can see that the sun is in a flow to Uranus, and it can open up some work and money opportunities for you, or some revealing of family secrets or secrets that you just don't know that also are going to enliven better outcomes in your health and better outcomes in your daily work routines. Watch out for the blowout of the Saturday, Sunday, Monday energy, when we keep seeing that Mars is creating reckless action and rash decisions, perhaps, as he comes into that square to Uranus. This is involving your romantic life. Be careful for rash sort of decisions or actions involving your romantic life, your children, that you have, adult or child, it doesn't matter, and things to do with money, things to do with joint resources that you hold. You find out your beloved just spent all the savings you guys had on a car and didn't ask you. You find out that your child spent all the money you gave them and you're blowing out. You find out that they dipped into the trust fund without your permission. Or they could be having a rash and reckless action. Certainly Mars here could be a child stomping their feet going, I'm moving, I'm leaving the home, something like that. Or your love partner saying the same thing. So it's not a great weekend there for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to start a new relationship, go on a first date and try to make that relationship a workable one. You're baking in that unpredictable, dark secrets come to light, romantic ick. You're baking in a hot spot of challenges. So don't start a new dating. Can you prolong the first date beyond this weekend? I would do that, because the time you meet somebody for the first time, it bakes in like clay an archetypal energy of the first meeting. So I'd be very avoidant of a new relationship being created, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday under this intense energy. Plus, it would be very love-hate at this point, right? Venus and Mars are together, sure, it's two peas in a sex pod, but it can also bake in some shock and awe around love and hate, and who needs that? So with the existing relationship, watch out for some blowouts, mostly around jointly held finances and resources. Okay, keep that in mind. So I'm halfway through, and I'm going to take a break. The break looks like chocolate off-site. You guys won't see the chocolate. And I'm going to get a new computer with a better camera. But right now that looks blurry. Okay, I'll be right back, and I'll see you in a sec. So let's keep going. And now we're going to go into the second half of our zodiac, and we'll begin with Scorpio. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Guess what? They got a little bit of action in your romance house here, and fertility and children, your fifth house, whole sign house. Wow. So this could be a really sweet time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to really spend some visioning time around your romantic life. If you're single, you can envision your ideal partner, maybe do a vision board of your ideal romantic love. Or if you're already with somebody, do it with them, vision together the next iteration of your story, or with your children, right? Or you want children and visualize your ideal child, or lay the reality tracks for the imagination tracks for the reality train to follow in the house of romance, children, fun, joy, play, and pleasure. Like on a practical note, like forget the prescription, this is a nice time for you to have some kind of fantastical fun, right? Go to a movie, Mercury, Neptune, go to a fantastical, do something, watch a good fantasy Netflix show with the one you love, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But honestly, deeper than that, right? Saturn wants to bring to the reality structures and scaffolds of reality, some visions and dreams you may have. And with Saturn here, like 1994, 95, 96, I explained this in the beginning, you're back in the groove of something you've gone through before. And when Saturn was here last time in that window, it wasn't with Neptune. So this is special. So how can you, in some fundamental way, envision, dream into being, create space for manifestation, which in some Indian traditions, this is a manifestation house, your ideal love story, your ideal fertility, children, and, procreation story, your ideal creative project, and your entrepreneurial business. Now, if you are an artist and Neptune is with Mercury, what a divine download for you. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can sort of have this visioning, imagining, trance state, delirium, and you come up with your best song, your best painting, your best poem. This is your time to really harness that as well on a choice matter. Use it here or lose it. With the sun in a sextile to Uranus, any ideas you have are really electric right now. Creative ideas, musical ideas, entrepreneurial ideas, but also engaging another. And this is really a wonderful energy for you Thursday, Friday, Saturday regarding visions and goals around love, romance, romantic love, and long-term committed love, and the blending of the two. So, it's sort of for the single Scorpios, the ideal time to envision your soulmate coming in, okay? But if you're with somebody, to take that relationship vision and move it into even more expansion with Jupiter, a new form can be created for the relationship. Maybe imagining it becoming a marriage or imagining it becoming more committed than it already is. Also, you can see the sun, which can delineate one's purpose and a structured purpose in a creative area, flowing to Uranus during Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you may have some breakthroughs. They're really exciting in your entrepreneurial business or your creative arts business, like something going viral, like say you're, I don't know, a musician, like my Scorpio rising sun, putting all his content in TikTok, something could just flare and go viral and hit a larger audience on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The gnarly, hard stuff on the weekend, just watch for that, like impulsive, reckless decisions or actions that you could take that can cause trouble when it comes to matters of your home and significant legal contracts. Like you're going to break a lease, you're going to bust out of there, you're going to break a real estate contract, or you're going to have a blowout with a marriage type partner over something going on in and from the home on the weekend. This is most active Saturday, Sunday into Monday. Just be careful, right? You don't want to do a rash action, harsh decision, sort of screw up, really. What Mars likes to do in the fourth house is cut out, right? So if someone can say, I'm moving out of here, and your partner goes, what the fuck? Why? Excuse me, why? Like it looks like domestic unbliss, right? Even though we're coming off that dreamy energy, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, as you move Saturday, Sunday, Monday into the sort of square, then I'm a little bit more concerned that you could have a blowout in the domestic environment with somebody you live with. That could be anybody, a parent, a roommate. So be cautious for that. The impulse here is to run away from home. So be careful for an impulse to run away from home on Saturday and Sunday for some of you, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. Slam the door when you leave. Go for ice cream and never come back, All right, so Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a vision boarding kind of vibe. Make it true. Reality tracks from the imaginational train, all that stuff. Let your imagination lay the tracks for the reality train to follow. In your natal fourth house, a whole sign house. Now, that's all about home, property, privacy, domestic life, real estate, legacy wealth, family of origin, childhood stuff, and your hometown even. And this is where you have this idea of wanting to put into a vision something. Like, do you want to imagine into reality your dream home, your ideal home, your perfect nest? You can try that this time. This is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's rare by virtue of Neptune, Saturn co-presence, and that's rare. It's going back to 94, 95, 96 in terms of Mercury, Saturn stories here. Go back to that time frame, what was going on with fourth house matters to do with home. And as well, you could do some deep envisioning and imagining and reimagining of any difficulties from your childhood. If you came out of a difficult home life as a child, it's time to do that inner child work. Honestly, as cliche and gacky and acky as it sounds, I would say inner child work is highly sustainable and useful and proactively good Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The sun is flowing to Uranus, opens up great opportunities regarding pets, rentals, unexpected positive surprises to pets, rental agreements, things to do with debts and home. Again, maybe you had to pay down a mortgage or something. Things to do with work situations, jiving in a surprisingly positive way with your home life. Now, watch out on the weekend as well, as Saturday through Sunday and Monday come into being. You could have that reckless action and outrage energy between a third house person, like that could be a neighbor, that can be a sibling, particularly younger, a cousin or niece or nephew, someone from a childhood friendship story, blowing out at you, all right? With Pluto, it gets very intense, or blowing out at a situation connected to debts. Someone owes somebody money? Karmic and real. Sixth house matters. Pets and work situations. Now, travel happens to be a third house thing and squaring a work thing. And so there could be some unexpected conflict that surprises you around work and travel problems and schedules. But if there's a person carrying that Martian sword, it is going to be one of those types of people I delineated, right? They're the one having this blowout. Now, if they're pointing at your sixth house as a house of karma, and it might be the end of a karmic relationship with that sibling or with that cousin or with that neighbor or that childhood friend. And if it blows out, maybe it's not so much about avoiding a reckless action, but allowing a karmic story to hit the shelf life and come to a finish line. But it might surprise you. And we're talking again about a window of time that is very specific. It's a window of time that involves, it's kind of like the Saturday, Sunday, Monday vibe where it's really active. I mean, you'll feel a little bit of it before that, but that's when it's going to be really intense. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And Mars in the third house is automobile travel, and he rules accidents, and Uranus is shocking, and it's their house of health matters. So be careful for automobile or travel incidents or accidents, okay? Just for you, just for that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, be very extra cautious around those matters. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising, and vision board delight, imagine it and make it real, is coming into your third house. Now, there are people who live there, right? Your neighbors, your younger siblings in general, things to do with the childhood friends, maybe even nephews, nieces, and cousins, aunts and uncles, the extended family network that's not your mom and dad. So in that sense, there may be something going on with those people or about those people, and it flows back to you. So that's good. If you want to proactively use the vision boarding vibe here on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, then envision your ideal trip, your ideal neighborhood in which you'd like to live, the ideal neighbors you'd like to associate with, the ideal relationship with a sibling that you'd like to have. This is a writing and communicating house. If you are a Capricorn writer, then this is an ideal time to download a new idea. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Pay attention to your dream journal. Saturn wants to give you a legacy idea, one you could write into a quadrilogy, okay? Or becomes a serialized TV show with Neptune there. So writers, Capricorns, hear me. Take the opportunity to grab this while it's here. Neptune won't be here forever, right? He's getting out of there in 2026. You're going to lose this power. Also, there is a flow from career and purpose-oriented sun to Uranus. There can be a creative breakthrough, an entrepreneurial breakthrough, a sudden insight or download regarding one of your children. And if you're looking for love, a sudden unexpected romantic opportunity may emerge in the local neighborhood or through travel, or yes, a dating app. That's a third house thing in the time frame of Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's also very yay you. Maybe that'll be quite exciting. Watch out for a rash or reckless decision or action or speech. You have Mars in the house of your speech. Again, we have that radical, sort of unpredictable nature of Uranus in the house of romantic love, in the house of your children. It can unfortunately look like a bit of a challenge or a blowout between you and a child. If you have adult children, watch out for your speech and harshness toward them. They may be delivering something unexpected and you're responding in a very outraged way, maybe angry way. It can also apply to a lover or romantic partner, not usually a long-term committed partner. That's not the vibe of the fifth house, more like a dating situation. Money issues blowing out regarding creative or entrepreneurial businesses can happen. as well. Again, time frame is Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign, one of you. We have this energy in our money house. Do you want to dream board your ideal earnings, your ideal paycheck, your ideal financial situation, your ideal cash flow, your ideal resources? Now, you want to align those with your values here and what really matters to you. That's classic, true thing of voice, vocation, calling. The best way to harness the second house of earnings and monies and resources is to align with your deeper vocational calling. Keep that in mind. But so like it's not to envision money as a cigar salesman when you believe that nicotine's bad for you. Find the place of truth here. That said, it's an ideal time to envision your perfect face. I'm an Aquarius rising like you guys. Let me stop to share. Oh, I got to get in a comfy chair. I've been putting castor oil all over my face for the last 3 weeks, and it's making a difference. I'm going to do my castor oil video and follow the crowd. What happened after 30 days of castor oil on my face? So, I'm an Aquarius rising, and I'm, dealing with the fact that, I've got wrinkles, as we all do. So, this is what do you want to put into lay the, the imagination lays the tracks for the reality train around your face, right? Around your appearance, around your jaw, your mouth, your throat. I'm healing myself of Hashimoto's that I've had for ages, never gotten worse, but, I still have it. Use your imagination then as well with the second house that is the house of speech. I'm not joking. If you always wanted to do a TED Talk or be on a stage and doing a speech, yeah, why not imagine that into being? This is a great vision board Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for you guys. Saturn's giving you the chance to make long game earnings here until 26, where you put in forms and structures into place that can benefit you for the next 30 years financially. So you may as well pay attention to what's going on here because it's happening with or without you. Go back to 94, 95, 96. What were you doing? Right? What were you doing in your money story? I was changing my career at the time, changing my earning strategy by becoming a full-time psychic. This is more of that visioning into being what you want in this part of your chart and using the magic of Neptune co-joined with Mercury as a visioning vibe, vision board vibe. Free association journaling, pay attention to your dreams at night. Now, at the same time, you see the sun is flowing to Uranus, and this is something to do with your earnings connected to your home life. Now we possess a home, we buy a home, we buy a car. So buying a possession like a car, like a home, like anything, a sofa, something for your home. You could have an unexpected, surprising, and positive, delightful opportunity emerging that feels very lucky, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for a acquisition of a possession for your home. Maybe a dream possession. You finally got your dream sofa and it was on Facebook Marketplace and it was $10, but you know that the sofa is worth like 3,000. Like you could be really delighted with this energy. Don't be afraid of Mercury in the heart of Neptune, guys. Again, I think people are going to talk about the dark side, but it's proximity that makes it like a merger on the 8th, right? A real fusion of those energies. Now, you might blow out at somebody. You're the one with the dagger in your hand. Please be careful. You are going to make a decision, potentially, or rash action that you may regret. Be cautious regarding situations to do with home, land, property, and real estate, or with some situation in the home and domestic life. Venus is the ruler of your 4th house, and she's here, right? And she's talking with this Mars, trying to cool his jets. But Mars is, Mars is the one in action, not Venus. So it can look like, some kind of unexpected situation that you get very volatile about, you get a little bit upset or outraged about regarding property, land, and real estate. Now, I mean, at the same time, we have the sun sextiling Uranus and the Jupiter co-presence, so it looks good. So, but it can be something, that rattles you a bit. If I had this unexpected, like I was renting a friend's property in 2021, 22, and then she needed it back all of a sudden. That happened in the fall of 22, and we're still friends, but it really rattled me. And I was like, what? Like, you didn't give me any warning. I don't have time to find a new place, and that kind of unexpected shit, excuse my language, could be happening for some of you. Now, 4th house people, mom and dad, especially mom, if mom's alive, some real unexpected conflict with your mom showing up around Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You're the one who has to cool your jets, right? You're the one who has to take 10 deep breaths and step back and not react. Good luck with I have 3 planets in Aries. Someone's going to have to hold me back. I tell my partner James to straitjacket me on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday so I don't go lunging at somebody. Okay. All right, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Well, in the story of you, right? It's all about in you. It's as you, by you. Pisces Sun, it's about your career and purpose. Pisces Moon, your home and nest and body. Hey, Pisces Ascendant, it's everything about you. Your whole character in the matrix, right? Who are you playing? What's your avatar here? Well, that avatar is having a deep, deep moment of Mercury conjunct Neptune on Friday. So take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and harness that for you, envisioning, dreaming into being, and imagining what you want in your career up here, because you can witness it from here, what you want in your home life, what you want in your love and relationship life, what you want for your children over here, what you want for your siblings over here, what you want for your money over here. You've got a perspective of 360 degrees around that damn wheel. You can make the dream board, vision board of a century about everything you want. Buy the largest Bristol board size you can. This is kind of rare. I talked in the beginning. Mercury's coming out of a cazimi. He's going to be rarely a rare visible Mercury around March the 7th to the 20, all the way through to the 25th or 6th and onward, and fading out as we move into early April. We have a Mercury visible. We have him coming off of a rare triple cazimi. We have Neptune with Saturn. So even though it's a little bit like 94, 1995, and 96, it's bigger than that because we have Neptune and Saturn together. It's so rare. It's so amazing. You'll have one more of these vision board opportunities next year, okay? In 2025, and then kaput, it's done. So you're going to grab this one. And this one comes off the rare triple cazimi with Mars in its heliacal rise. So we see him in the evening sky. So there's so many layers of yay moments to this. So vision board away what as the heck you want in your life. And then we have the sun, which is purpose and career energies in the house of you. And it is flowing. Watch out sometimes when the sun is in the first house, especially for a water sign, you can dry up, you can be burned out, it can be too hot to handle. It's easier for us, Aries rising, or for any Aries rising, Sag rising, and Leo rising to deal with the sun in the first house. But for you watery signs, it can be creating a lot of mist, right? A lot of sizzle, almost like like the water in the pot is boiling down to the bare, there's nothing left. So be careful, because you could be burning out with this energy, just so you know, vitality wise. But this is a sweet spot for you. Because this time, this sun, which represents vitality and purpose and career, is flowing to a surprise Uranus in the house of online, websites, social media, local neighbors and neighborhoods, siblings, and travel opportunities. So look for some positive surprise in your life, perhaps, also on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Watch for the blowout weekend, Saturday through Monday, where something could happen with Mars with a sword in your 12th house, fighting against, Uranus in your third. Now, hey, 12th house stuff is very subconscious, unconscious, your dreams at night. This could be you in like an inner rage, sabotaging yourself, with, beating yourself up about something that surprises you or shocks you or doesn't, you don't expect to do with siblings, neighbors, neighborhood, writing projects, online world stuff, social media stuff. Because travel and travel opportunities can be both third house and 12th house. There may be some conflict arising over a travel situation or opportunity that is unexpected and somewhat challenging. The only thing I'd say, especially if it's travel to foreign countries, involves siblings, etc., take a deep breath here. This energy is unexpected, and therefore actions taken here in the aftermath of Saturday, Sunday, Monday may be reckless or rash, right? Not the way to go. Give it some time. Take a deep breath. Hidden enemies belong to the 12th. And you may find that somebody is quite attacking of you that you thought was an ally. And suddenly you're dealing with that like an enemy, hidden enemy who's a neighbor, for example, or a childhood friend who backstabs you. I mean, weird stuff like that playing out Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Best to let it pass and decompress. I'm doing a whole video on the square because it's tied into a 2022 story from the synodic cycle. So hit the like button, subscribe, because you of all people need to know about it. Hello, I'm back. Don't forget, my Sky Reader class is starting in the month of April. If you want to sign up, it's 6 weeks long, and it's, live classes, replays available if you can't make the meeting, Q&As, evergreen forever access to the content, a Facebook group to put your homework. And I don't know, I say every year I won't teach it. This will be the 5th time. I may or may not continue it, but you want to be your own astrologer, time your best life, give it a try. And I might be doing a video on the guy who burned himself alive in front of the Israeli embassy, because I cannot believe the asteroids on that one. I just can't. The Vestal flame conjunct this guy's name, right? Bushnell. I used an asteroid for Bush, Busch, and it's a couple of flamey asteroids like Pyria and Pyre, like fire, pyre, pure, of burning things. Also really active at the day and time this happened in Washington, D.C. I think it's where it happened. And I'm like, oh, you can't make this stuff up. Vesta is a flame. His name is conjunct the fire of Vesta on the day that this U.S. soldier set himself on fire as a protest about the war in Gaza, and also chatter that he told his friends that he found out in his higher security clearance work for the Air Force. He found out that whether it's true or not, he would told the friends that that United States actually had soldiers, special forces soldiers, in the tunnels in Gaza working with the IDF, and that really rattled him. So, because I don't think you're allowed to do that, but hey, what the hell, don't have to tell the American people that they're at war, right? Okay, so I'm Canadian. I'm not a part of your story. Anything else? I'll look at the time. No, it's good. My next video coming out, I think it's going to be the eclipse preview video coming out this week on Thursday. If you want to know more about that eclipse series of the next two eclipses that started the Middle East debacle and how these eclipses could benefit you or be used by you. They're two amazing eclipses, particularly the April 8th eclipse. And the lunar eclipse, of course, is on March the 25th in Libra. So stay tuned for my eclipse video. It's going to be a humdinger. It's going to be kind of long. It's a preview video. I'll have separate videos for each of the eclipses as well. And I'm also doing a video pretty soon with a couple of colleagues of mine. We're going to talk about the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction and dive into that as well. A little more than I've already done. Check out my 2023 4 big transits playlist, because you'll be able to go back and see some of the bigger stories of 2024. And they're all doing very well, but don't forget there's also resources here besides the weather, astrology weather of the day, of the week. All right, I have my monthly playlist, my weekly playlist, and the big 24 transits of 2024. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful week ahead. Again, use that visioning. I'm going to get some friends over and we're going to vision board on Friday night. I'm going to do it because I don't want to lose it. Bye, everyone.